The Board of Park Commissioners' regular board meeting for the date of Wednesday, March 22nd, 2017 is now in session. Let the record reflect that there was no executive meeting held, therefore no need for certification. With that, we'll have our pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Commissioner Juanita Jackson.
Present.
Commissioner Renee Patterson.
Present.
President Dwight Gardner.
Present. We do have a quorum and will continue. I would address your attention to our minutes from the date of March the 8th, 2017. You may need a moment to peruse them and do so.
I make a motion, we approve the minutes from Wednesday, March 8th.
Second.
Roll call?
Commissioner Juanita Jackson.
Yes.
Commissioner Renee Patterson.
Yes.
President Dwight Gardner.
Yes. I would address your attention to payroll. Payroll expenditures for the reporting dates of the period of February 6th through February 19th and March 5th, 17th, and 20th. Madam Superintendent, is there any overtime on this particular?
There is no overtime.
And have we added any personnel since our last meeting?
Yes, we have. We've added an aquatics manager and Christine Gooden-Williams, and she is here today, and she will be properly introduced later on.
Okay. Then I will entertain a motion that we would approve payroll as submitted.
So moved.
Roll call?
Commissioner Juanita Jackson.
Yes.
Commissioner Renee Patterson.
Yes.
President Dwight Gardner.
Yes.
And you are actively hiring for positions for the summer?
Yes, we are. Please send us good people.
That takes us to the ratification of claims. I have here for the dates of March 22nd or through March 22nd.
So there is a revised, so
Well, yes, that revised
get this one.
thing was the information that Mrs. Dilworth requested of the line items that these particular invoices are coming out of. And I did attach a copy of the different explanations of each line item for what product or service comes out of that line item.
Okay.
And the reason I requested this is because we're getting our fiscal house in order. We're no longer going to steal from Peter to pay Paul.
Okay.
We're going to just systematically and strategically approach our finances correctly so that we don't have to be in the position where we're cash poor.
Okay. So is there anything in particular we need to be paying close attention to, or is it pretty self-explanatory?
Again, the yellow highlighted items are items that that are for another department that is paid out of 250
Okay.
or Marquette Park. This forms and function, the first one in the Parks Department is for the Reed Park, so we paid that from the Parks Department fund. In the Marquette Fund 216, we paid for the flower show tickets out of Marquette Park Fund.
Okay.
And those are the only two highlighted items.
Would this also reflect any delinquencies?
Last meeting, you all were given this list, so we're still working towards this. I need to let you know that we have gone to a electronic financial tracking system. The kinks are being worked out, We have all of our requisitions in, and we're working diligently to get our vendors paid, so that we can mend some of those broken relationships. But right now, the kinks are being worked out, because it's, this electronic system has just been implemented about a month ago? About a month ago, so, but we are in communication with all our vendors to let them know that, this is what's happening. And Salida and her team, they've been very actively engaged in helping us work through some of these delinquencies.
Good, 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 good.
On the Reed Park, phase 2 has been completed.
No, phase 2 is in the process. Right now, they are, they've gutted out the complete pavilion. We've also broken ground for the splash pad. We're demolishing the pool, because we're gonna fill it in and then hydro seed it. So all of that is happening.
Okay, so what is the payment for?
The payment is for the specs and the project management, because we couldn't start phase 2 without the specs.
Okay, so this is actually phase 1, or this is the design and
Right,
for
going
phase 2?
into phase 2.
Okay, so this is about the design portion of phase 2?
Yes, sir.
And not the actual construction of
Right.
phase 2? Okay. I'll entertain a motion that we would approve claims as submitted for this date, March 22nd, 2017.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Commissioner Juanita Jackson?
Yes.
Commissioner Renee Patterson?
Yes.
President Dwight Gardner?
Yes. That takes us to bids, proposals, quotes, and contracts.
Okay, so we are going to accept the bids for the concession. Excuse me. We received 3 bids. One bid from, what is that?
First bid is from Miracle City.
From Miracle City.
Okay.
Please let it be reflected in the minutes. What is the location of Miracle City?
They are located at 860 Lake Street in Gillingham. We have a bid from,
I believe that's Fuzz Catering.
Buzz
Fuse, sorry.
we have a bid from Fuse Catering.
Is that the caterer for Market
It
Park?
is the caterer
Yes, it
from
is.
Market Park. Okay.
Oh, okay.
And
That's Fuse Catering.
we have a bid from Sunset Bistro.
Location.
Maryville.
Maryville, Indiana.
Okay. And what I would like to do is to set an executive session for 1 week from today at 9 a.m. for the purpose of reviewing the bids for the concession stand and market lot. Is that, well, I'll make sure that you guys are available, that's my suggestion.
What date is that? March 29th.
It's a Wednesday.
Is that doable? Let me check.
At 8:39 or here?
What do you prefer, we do your office?
Yeah, 8:39.
We'll do it 839 Broadway.
Or we could do it at 860, because you guys haven't seen that new office.
We have more?
Yeah, we do. At 860 North Lake Street.
Oh, no.
We do it.
No.
That's too far.
That's too.
No.
839 Broadway.
At 9 o'clock.
At
9 o'clock.
8.
Is that a yes?
9 o'clock, yes.
Okay. Then we can go ahead and post that we'll be having that executive session.
Okay.
Next item.
The next item is my recommendation to enter into a contract for professional services to employ the services of Attorney Deidre Monroe as our board, as you all's board attorney.
Okay, let me take this opportunity to welcome Attorney Monroe. I had to figure out what I was gonna say. I started to say judge, then I started to say sister. But we are pleased to have the services of Attorney Monroe. And go ahead and introduce the contract.
Okay,
Well-
all right. And so the contract is, as stated, it will start in March and end the 31st of this year. The scope of services will certainly be to advise us on all things legal as it pertains to all of our contracts, all of the services that we employ, and our daily operations in the scope of legality, so.
Okay. Then I would entertain a motion that we would approve the contract for legal services with Attorney Deidre Monroe.
So moved. Second.
Roll call?
Commissioner Juanita Jackson?
Yes.
Commissioner Renee Patterson?
Yes.
President Dwight Gardner?
Yes.
So now we have contracts that have been vetted, looked at by Attorney Monroe. Last time, we covered all the contracts, and we said, and we got the Corporation Council to look them over. So this is the same thing. This is for our lawn care, our security, landscaping, service sanitation, elevator services, and also for the buoys. So all of these contracts have been looked at, and one of the things that I did is I met with people, because I didn't want anyone to have the idea that a contract was automatic. I wanted to make sure that we were getting the best services that we could possibly get, that would benefit us. And again, one of the contracts that we probably will not enter into is the leasing agreement for the mowers. And so Salita is gonna help us with that, because I just really vehemently, I'm against that particular, contract, because, it hemorrhages money, and it's not advantageous for us at all. So I put that one on the back burner for the April meeting, until such time as, Ms. Salita can, come here or just brief us on our options to get out of
Now,
that contract.
are we talking about the mowers that were purchased last year by the city?
Not purchase, lease.
They're leased.
They were leased by the city last year?
Yes.
So was it a one-year lease?
Yes. No, it was, I believe, a three.
So the lease was approved, and we share those machines with General Services, is that correct?
No, we don't share those machines. We don't share those machines.
We purchased we leased the mowers for purchase.
Purchase.
I cannot recall that contract. We leased the 5 mowers, and then they were responsible for helping us with the upkeep of the mowers, and it was a pretty aggressive contract. So, I mean, I'm hoping we can, get out of the lease.
Right, we do have options.
So-
We have options, because if we don't have the appropriated funds to support something like that, we have an option as a city to say, we just don't have it. What are some other ways we can do this? And I'm looking at other ways we can acquire equipment, and all of that type of thing, but
So
we
we're
are not
looking to give them
benefiting from
back
this.
the 5 mowers then? we're looking to give those back
You know,
to them?
at, you know,
Can we
at
do
this,
that?
at this time, I would like to say that we're looking into different options, and I'll
Okay.
be able to share more with you next month.
Gotcha, okay, okay.
Here off the contract, we'll do that after the meeting.
Explain to me, because we have to approve these, I'm assuming. The lawn care contract, this is the lawn care at Marquette Park?
Yes.
Okay, all right, and we talked about this.
And also, one of the things that, that we're doing and moving forward, is to make Marquette Park sort of the template or the standard by which we approach all other parks. Gone are the days that we just cut grass. It's not about just cutting the grass, it's about a manicured look, so that Marquette isn't just the only jewel, but it will be one of many jewels in a crown of parks. So, this particular contractor has agreed to help us with training our other people, so that we can have that standard of beauty throughout the city of Gary.
Great. That was always a issue with the lawn care, when he talked about, you know, edging and even pick up before you even cut the grass. That was something that was necessary, that you would see that they would just, if there was paper down there, they just run over the paper, you know, and there was no edging done. And then the fence, there was weeds all along the fence, particularly at Gleason,
Right.
which is supposed to be the golf course.
Right.
So when you're golfing, you don't want to see all this. Aesthetically, it wasn't
Right.
very, you know, professional as far as the look, but
Then I will entertain a
standard of
motion.
care, that's good.
I will entertain a motion that we would approve professional service contract for lawn care with Stephen Wilson Lawn Care. Total compensation and expenses shall not exceed the sum of $15,000.
So moved.
Second? Is there a second? Okay. Roll call?
Commissioner Juanita Jackson?
Yes.
Commissioner Renee Patterson?
Yes.
President Dwight Gardner?
Yes.
So now, this training that's supposed to take place, have there been any type of action taken as far as putting anything in place for the new workers that are coming on board, or they're?
Right, and so, we're putting together like a comprehensive training schedule that includes, I'm sending, Mr. Ishman to, what is that? Dolly, is it a tree trimming?
It's a tree trimming.
It's a tree trimming, something, a workshop. And so that becomes a part of our partnership with Green Urbanism, because they have a whole slew of trainings, you know, ranging from gardening, landscaping, and all of that type of thing.
Okay.
And I don't wanna get ahead of myself, but we have some exciting, new partnerships that we've entered into that will help us have a crew of 20-plus people on the grounds this summer,
Okay.
as opposed to the 6 we usually have.
Great. So now, as a result of that, is there gonna be any, excuse me, guys,
That's
I just
okay.
wanna follow through on this, because now, once you put all that in place,
Right.
now, there will be pay for performance. Is there gonna be any kind of follow-up as far as, you know, critiquing their pay for performance, as far as maintaining the standards of care that you'll set in place as a result of the training?
Yeah, so, my team is very aware that you don't just get a paycheck, everybody, you know, earns their salt. And so some people have been put on improvement plans, and as a result, we have new team members, let's just put it that way.
Next, we have the professional services contract for security with Davis Dade Security. I will entertain a motion that we would approve the security contract with Davis Security. Total compensation shall be in an amount not to exceed $15,000 for the life of the contract.
So moved.
Roll call?
Commissioner Juanita Jackson?
Yes.
Commissioner Renee Patterson?
Yes.
President Dwight Gardner?
Yes. Okay, that we have a second professional services contract for landscaping. With Hugh Binger,
Mhm.
okay, and is this also for Marquette, or is this
Yes.
for?
That's the pavilion.
Yes,
Mhm.
and I want to say that,
Got the whole park now.
just for clarification, that Marquette Park is self-sufficient. So it does not rely on the funds, on the tax-based funds. So that's worth repeating, that it comes from the Fund 216 as opposed to the Fund 250. So that's why they're able to have additional contractors.
Gotcha. Which is good.
Okay, according to the contract, we are entering into a contract with Hugh Binger Landscaping. Not to exceed $30,000.
That's the entire park, not just the pavilion.
It's the entire Market Park.
Right.
Okay. Is there a motion?
I make a motion, we approve the agreement with
Yeah.
Hugh Binger
All year round.
for Marquette Park.
Roll call?
Commissioner Juanita Jackson?
Yes.
Commissioner Renee Patterson?
Yes.
President Dwight Gardner?
Yes. We have a professional services contract for service sanitation. To supply porta potties throughout the parks. Contract not to exceed $30,000. Is there a motion?
I make a motion, we approve the contract with Service Sanitation.
Second.
Roll call?
Commissioner Juanita Jackson?
Yes.
Commissioner Renee Patterson?
Yes.
President Dwight Gardner?
Yes. We also have a professional services contract with Cone Elevator.
I have a question.
Yes.
Okay, the service sanitation contract, that does not include the air show?
No, we have to amend that.
We have to amend, yeah, because the air show is an additional $10,000 or more dollars.
Oh,
The $30,000
And I
is
wanna
just.
hold
Do we
off on
amend
that.
that, or do we do a separate
Yes.
contract for the air show?
A separate contract, and right
Okay.
now, that's something that I would like to, have a little bit more time in doing, simply because I'm not sure if we can continue to, embrace that particular, contract, simply because, I'm in meetings with the air show committee, and they're looking for ways to see if that could be alleviated, if that could be we not be saddled with that. So I would like just a little bit more time to talk with them, because there may be a possibility that someone else will be able to, burden that, pay for that $10,000.
Yeah, I would hope that ultimately the air show would be able to carry itself.
yes.
As that would be the best of all worlds. Short of that, there ought to be at least some level of shared responsibility for providing sanitation.
Right.
So if not the entire $10,000,
Something.
somebody else has to kick in.
Right,
Okay.
right, so.
All right, so we'll look at that as a separate, totally separate contract as we move forward. Okay, and the Cone Elevator,
Kone.
Elevator.
okay. Cone Elevator.
French.
It's
Oh,
French.
okay, all right. For elevator service repair, a total contract where compensation is not to exceed $10,000. And I'll entertain a motion.
Is that for Marquette?
Yeah.
It's in Marquette, also for Hudson Campbell.
Right.
Gotcha, okay. So I make a motion, we approve the contract for Kone Elevation Service.
Second,
Second.
roll call?
Commissioner Juanita Jackson?
Yes.
Commissioner Renee Patterson.
Yes.
President Dwight Gardner.
Yes.
Oh,
The last contract we have before us is with South Shore Marina. Is this for the boys? It talks a little bit here about beach cleaning.
well, again, we're trying to get more out of the money that we're expending. So it's incumbent upon the people to either accept the contract or not.
Okay.
Also, that is for repairs to the buoys, fitting the buoys out and taking them in at the end of the season.
Okay, for a total sum not to exceed $30,000. And this is with South Shore Marina.
I make a motion to approve the contract with South Shore Marina.
Roll call?
Commissioner Juanita Jackson. Commissioner Renee Patterson.
Yes.
President Dwight Gardner.
Yes.
And that is all I have for bids and contracts and proposals.
Is there anything in our legal report today?
Other than I think I just talked to Ms. Dilworth about contact. I know we're trying to do something with Ambridge, and I'm gonna talk to the city engineer, so the city engineer can review those specs before we move forward.
Is that the pavilion?
Yes.
The damage that was done to the pavilion?
No, this is the cell tower.
Oh, the
that,
tower, gotcha,
attorneys-
okay, okay.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. Do you guys have a police report? Someone was identified for that? Because I will look into that too.
We're talking about Ambridge?
Yeah, the damage that was done to Ambridge.
So we'll refer this to Officer Lilly to investigate, because it's been hit twice.
It's the break-in, so we're talking about.
No, we're
It was
talking about
hit by a
Ambridge
car,
Pavilion.
a truck or
It was hit
something.
by a car at two different places.
Okay.
So we'll get that information, we'll get that information to you.
Okay.
Was it,
Very ugly.
Yes,
was there a police report taken?
That was before my time, so I don't know. It's been that way
Yeah, it's been that
for a
long.
minute. So I'm not sure if we know about that. I do know, however, that the building is structurally sound. It's just ugly.
Okay. I would think that even our insurance would cover some of it. Let's look,
Yeah,
we'll look into
we'll-
it.
we'll
look
look
into
into
it.
that.
We'll look into it.
However you guys want me to proceed,
Okay.
with our insurance or trying to chase down the.
Yeah,
the
let's
responsible
find
person's
out what we
insurance.
got going. Okay, all right. That takes us to our administrative reports. We will hear from,
Today, we're gonna hear from Tiffany Merrills, Nathaniel George, Ms. DeLosa, and Officer Lilly. So why don't we start with Officer Lilly?
okay?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hold your thought for a second.
Yes, sir.
No.
I know how it feels to be in the interview room.
Can you come here for a second?
Just a couple of things. I want to start with Pittman Park Pavilion. It was recently vandalized within the past week or so. We have twice within the past week. The windows were broken out and they gained entry inside of the pavilion and just ransacked whatever was up in there, chairs, water was all over the place. So we immediately got on that, secured the doors, and also secured the windows by boarding them up. Through our knowledge, we believe it to be juveniles. So what we have done is began to get quotes to get the windows, but on some of the windows, they have gates that protects the windows from the outside. So we'll be looking into possibly getting windows with such gates where it can be protected from the outside.
Excuse me, we're also looking to just light it up, because a lot of that has to do with poorly lit pavilions. And when you light it up and make it in the afternoon, you know. Now, the only issue with that is we anticipate people in the neighborhood not wanting all that light. Because the way I wanna light it up, I wanna light it up.
Ask you this question though, where are we with the capacity to have, electronic security? The camera,
That's Officer Willie's project.
So we have gotten, the 3 quotes that I do have is in reference to Marquette ticket booths, and the Hudson Campbell. We have not extended that, beyond those 2 facilities. So as of now, we will look into at least attempting to provide 1 camera or something electronic where we can start to monitor, things like that. And also with that, we're adding extra patrols to be able to patrol out there during the evening hours, which is when we think that the vandalism happened.
I was gonna ask about motion lights. You mentioned lights, so that, you know, when someone, you know, so they only come on when, you know, when there's a motion. Because, I mean, it may be all 4 corners of the building, or where you think it's feasible to place them
Well, we would
is a
need
possibility.
Yeah, we need because we need an electrician to kind of monitor those lights, because the lights, the exterior lights have an electrical problem, and you can't just take the bulb out and put it back in. It's something electric that has to do with the inside, so
we'll
we'll have
also
to.
investigate the possibility of doing it with solar. The lighting we provide.
That was, the solar power was just brought up for another issue this morning, so that we did
Yeah, we're
mention that
looking
as a
to
good
put
idea.
like a solar panel on our new ticket booth that's at the concession. So that's a good point. We're gonna look into some solar.
Solar lighting for those particular areas. It would ultimately reduce the cost because, you know, the thing that, and it is quite disheartening, because we actually work really hard. And I don't mean just the park board, but I believe the city, its leadership, our mayor, council, we work really hard with very limited resources right now to provide an environment for our community. And we keep taking 1 step forward and 2 or 3 steps backwards because of entities in our community that don't really even share or appreciate what community ought to mean. And so we keep spending money.
Yeah.
One of Tolliston Park, we replaced 6 backboards, and 2 of the 6 backboards that we replaced had been shot out again. When we first opened Tolliston Park, you could play well into the evening. Had its own lighting system, its own scoreboard. One of the nicest park facilities that I have ever come across. And the wiring for the lighting and the scoreboard was ripped out. These are the kinds of things that just continue to keep us from being able to provide a real quality environment for our citizens. And I hope that there is some way that we can get a larger community buy-in, and that those entities in our community that don't share our love and concern for it can be somehow minimized or removed. Yeah, this is, you know, things break, they need to be fixed. Machinery, air conditioning systems and other things go bad and we need to replace them. But we shouldn't have to be replacing windows and because they were busted out. or spending man hours cleaning up places because they were just ransacked and vandalized. And I hope that we can find a way to minimize that.
That was well said.
Yeah, thank you. And I think the safety plan that we're putting in place by having Officer Lilly with, you know, the additional checks and all of those type, like aerial checks and things like that, I think that sends a real, a definite message to the community that we're here. And also with our partnerships and Adopt a Park, we have to get people a little bit more actively using the pavilions, because I think what happens too is when people don't see a lot of activity, it's opportunity. You know, idle mind is the devil's workshop. So if they don't see a lot of activity, then unfortunately things like this can occur. So I think that goes back into that whole community buy-in. But we're working on it. We're not discouraged. We're gonna keep going. And so, you know, the windows won't get there soon, but they will get there.
Anything else?
Yeah, moving right along to the police garage where we house the ATVs that was also broken into. The doors, the garage doors that'll keep it more secure, those have been ordered, and those will be in within the next week and installed.
Great.
Excellent.
Also, the area that we've established at 860 North Lake Street for the aquatics program, and also for the police officer and the police department. That's coming along real well. We have equipment and office things for that, and I think we also have roofing specs in reference to fixing the roof over there as well.
We're patching.
Okay.
Okay?
You gotta stay dry.
Yeah, we gotta
Yeah,
stay
you do.
dry.
And she stole my thunder with the ticket booth. So the ticket booth has been placed over in the concession stand lot.
Very proud of that.
So now the thing is, how are we gonna run electricity into the ticket booth? So we have a couple of options, and we're gonna have an electrician to look at that and advise further on how we should proceed.
And this is for Lake Street or?
It's for Marquette.
Marquette Park
Yes,
Beach.
Marquette.
And that's
Park,
where
yeah.
we're investigating the possibility of solar to supply.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Who came up with that?
Yeah, I like that.
That's it?
Good
Thank
job.
you.
All right, thank you, Officer Lilly. Okay, so I would like at this time to introduce our new aquatics manager, and Christine Gooden-Williams. She, calm down. Christine has a long history of aquatics, and I'm so excited, because she's excited about, swimming and water and all things aquatic. You don't have to, come on. So, tell us just a little bit about some of your plans and what you plan to do.
Right now, I'm going to check out all the pools to see which one would be feasible for the summer, just for startup, and starting off with the staff and see how many staff and what I need to hire for lifeguards and what kind of training we need to do.
You wanna tell us a little bit about your background in aquatics?
Oh, my aquatics background started in '99. I used to work for the city as an aquatics director, and then we parted ways, and then I came back and got my master's degree in business administration, and met with McKinney, they were looking for the aquatics director, and got to come back.
Okay, so you actually can teach the swimming?
Yeah, I used to teach the
lifeguards.
lifeguards.
Okay.
I instructed, did WSI, and used to run the beach, do the air show, everything.
Right.
Yeah.
And what's interesting about Christine is that I had to kind of coax her into thinking about taking the position, because she just came and out of the blue, even before I had an aquatics manager, and was like, listen, I don't want people to like sell you pipe dreams. This is what needs to happen with your aquatics program. And that just really impressed me, because she was not looking for a job, but she wanted to alert me to some of the hiccups and the Achilles heels. And so that just really stuck in the back of my mind. And so when the position miraculously opened up again, she took it. Thank you, Christine, I appreciate it. Okay, so now we have, Kiana Velosa. She's our new executive director for, Youth Services Bureau.
Hello. I am caught off guard yet again. So here are some of the things that we are doing with Youth Services. We're currently working on our summer registration packet for recreation that we plan to have at 4 different sites throughout the city of Gary. So we're working on those registration packets. We've added 5 additional students to our after-school program at 21st Century Charter School. We've also gained permission from Principal Cherry to have access to the gym, so the students are able to go into the gym where they're learning boxing. And then we also have a rotunda that's kind of open where they have free movement as well. We have a training for the summer feeding program, which is April 4th. At this point, we have about 30 participants that are gonna come, and it's gonna be held at the 839 building.
That's huge, because this is a training for the entire state of Indiana, and we're the host of it, so.
Nice.
We have a partnership with Work One, and we are currently soliciting different schools. We're going around to different schools to have their students between the ages of 16 and 18 to come to our job fair, which is going to be held April 20th at the Genesis Center. We are also looking for individuals between the ages of 19 and 14 that are unemployed. 24, I'm sorry. 19 and 24 that are unemployed. They may be in school, they may be dropouts, but our partnership with Work One, they do have funds where they will help us, well, they will pay for those individuals to work. So we're getting work experience, and we're also doing a partnership, so that's very big. We're very excited about that. The after-school program did Women's Black History Month. They went to a youth symposium at the Watson School, Watson Academy on March 11th. I think we had 9. No.
9. We had 9.
We had 9 students, and it was on a Saturday, so they gave up their Saturday to come. They received banks and things like that. It was very exciting. We do have pictures if you need to see those. And that's pretty much where we're at. So those are the things that we're doing.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Nathaniel George has a short report. Unfortunately, he broke his hand. I mean, this is how hard this man works.
All right, good morning. Good morning. Just a bit of I guess a pretty good report. So the 11, 12, and 13, 14-year-old Biddy All-Star teams will be traveling to New Orleans to compete in the national tournament. So they're leaving Thursday. So we definitely want to wish them luck. And then 2 track teams that we have that work, 2 AAU track teams that we have that work out here. And they started in probably end of November. So we have the EC Cards and the Gary Stillers track team competed in the Indoor National Track Championship in Landover, Maryland. EC Cards had Kylie Marshall. Kylie Marshall finished with the gold in the 200. Interesting, because we tease her all the time because she always comes in second place. So, but she won this year. The Gary Stillers 4x4, I'm not sure what kind of relay it was. It was a 4x4 relay team that actually took 4th place. So just want to congratulate them. I know, sometimes a lot of young people get a lot of bad attention because of some things that go on, but these kids put in a lot of work starting in November. I also want to thank the members too, because we would have upwards of 20 kids here at a time. And so, rather than kind of griping about it and kind of feeling a certain way, most members would feel like they would accommodate them a little bit more. So they would move their workout regimen up an hour or back an hour in order to accommodate the amount of traffic that we had in the facility. So, just want to thank everybody involved, and they're shifting outside now, so we definitely want to wish them well as they shift outdoors. So we're good.
Thank you. And now we have Ms. Tiffany Merrills at Marquette. Oh, yeah. So, you know, we have a new golf manager as well in Dime, so. Can you not?
Good morning, board. How are you
Good morning.
today? So my report is brief. You have it before you. Some things I don't need to go over because my wonderful colleagues have already touched base on it. One of the things that I do want to talk about is a concern that we've talked about before. It's going on a little bit over a year, and that's the concern with the bridge and the leaking gutters. As we're getting into our rainy season, they're leaking more, and now we have the front of the building, the seams are coming apart and they're leaking. We do have a quote from Advance. We did seek out 3 quotes. We had one contractor do about 3 no calls, no shows. He said he was coming and never showed up. We called another company here in Gary and asked them to come out. They said they would send someone. They never sent anyone out. We only had one company that actually came out and was able to give us a proper quote on that information. I did have it before, but we didn't have our new attorney in place. And so I would like to present this to the superintendent, and then she can make sure that we get it to you guys for review, for approval for next time, because we really do need to get that fixed and repaired. As you know, we're gonna have some rain this week. Thankfully, we don't have any events at Marquette, so we won't be affecting anyone as they're coming through the door and rain is, coming through the gutters, but we do need to definitely move on that as quickly as possible. So, Madam Superintendent, I'm gonna forward that to you. That is the proposal for the bridge work as well as the gutters to get repaired. And it's a very reasonable cost. It's not very expensive at all. We do need to readjust the existing cameras, and at Marquette, we had 2 cameras go out at Marquette. They need to be repaired and they need to be fixed and readjusted just based upon the angles. As you've heard today, along with Officer Lily's report, there's been multiple break-ins, multiple things happening. We have had vandalism over at Marquette at the launch that we had last summer. We just want to make sure that we're prepared and not underprepared in case in the incident that something does happen in Marquette. We want to be able to have the cameras to be able to see what we need to see. And we also need to adjust the cameras on the inside of the actual pavilion as well. And so I will be getting quotes to present to you at your April meeting for that as well for approval. We have some great thank yous. So in case I didn't see any of you, so I expect to see you next Tuesday, especially you because you asked for it. Taco Tuesday was a huge success at Marquette. That's 2nd and 4th Tuesday of every month. And it is a partnership with Marquette and our catering department. It was a snowstorm outside, you guys, and we had 80 people show up at Taco Tuesday. It was a great atmosphere. Yes, Attorney Monroe came out and enjoyed tacos. It was a great atmosphere. Vicki came out. So for those staff members that did come out, I definitely appreciate it. We had music and salsa music, and we had a huge table. So we get everybody. We have veggies, we have the beef, we have everything you want to eat, we have it. So please come out 2nd and 4th Tuesday.
So you said it's like free tacos on
It's $10, all you can eat tacos.
What time?
It's from 5 to 9:30.
5 to 9, okay.
So we stopped serving at 9:30.
Okay.
And we had a huge outpour of support on social media. Miller Next Door. I mean, they just gave us rave reports. They even called our superintendent in Washington, D.C. and was telling her about how wonderful it was. So definitely come out. Definitely come out. And then also we're asking people not to forget to sign up for our Spring Into Action Fun Run, which is our 5K. I'm going to get Reverend Gardner to be on the table to check people in. He's already adamantly said he's not running. May 6, 2017, and that kicks off our marathon season. We have about 5 different marathons from different organizations that'll be happening in the Miller community. So we, invite you all to come out and partake. That's my report.
Thank you.
So I'm gonna have the shortest report that you guys will ever get from me.
Great.
Somebody write that down.
So my report is Reed Park is on schedule. I'm excited about showing you all the progress in a slide presentation in April. And I just wanted to reiterate this partnership that we entered into with Work One. The significance of this is that based on assessment and qualifications, we will be able to employ 16-year-olds to 24-year-olds, right, at $12 an hour. And that's huge for us, because that means they are going to help us fill out our ticket booth operation. They're gonna help us with maintenance and groundkeeping, making sure that the pavilions have a standard of care and and all of that type of thing. Customer service, and they will help us tremendously. So I just wanted to sort of reiterate the importance of this particular partnership, because it's going to help so many young people between the ages of 16 and 24. So if you're out there and you know some people who are 16 to 24 who meet the criteria, call us at 219-886-7099, because we really want to get this out. We want to employ as many young people as we possibly can. And it's not just for the summer. That's what's exciting about it. It's a year-round program. That's my report.
I just had a question, McKenna. Have you gotten the, McKenna? McKenna. Have you gotten that out to the churches as well as the schools?
That sounds like something you would like to do. You want to help me get this out to the churches?
Well,
So, but we are. We have people that, we have someone that's designated for the faith-based organizations, getting them out to the churches, getting them out to the one synagogue that we have and the mosques that we have. We have people who are designated to get it out to the block clubs. I mean, and then Christine and Kay have agreed to make presentations at alternative adult education programs. We're really excited about this because we feel this is the way to get that community buy-in. Because when you help people's households, yeah, they love you.
yes.
So that's what we want to do, and that's the shortest report that I'll ever give you in the life of the parks.
Great. What's the progress with Hudson Campbell as far as renovation? We thought we were
So-
pretty close last meeting.
Yeah, so renovations will start at the end of, we'll start at the end of this month, and we'll have an updated presentation for you in April.
Great.
And please, these calendars are wonderful. They have all of our events that we support for the entire year here. Let's partner. And tomorrow is our flower show. So please support, and thank you. Thank you. That's it.
Okay, that'll take us to public comment. We have two individuals who requested to.
Oh, I'm sorry, excuse me. Can I introduce our new golf manager?
Yeah.
Yes.
Mr. Don, can you stand up, please? Why don't you come up and tell us how you're gonna turn the golf course around? Tell them about that fiery proposal.
First of all, thank you for the opportunity to do that.
Step back.
Yeah, I was gonna say it. For 30 years now, I've been a golf professional. For the prior 5, I've been the superintendent, green superintendent at Gleason. Not real happy with things that happen out at Gleason. It's not up to my standards as far as running a golf course, but I don't overstep my boundary. Kenya finally gave me the chance to bend her ear a little bit in her office, and I decided to tell her how I could change the philosophy at Gleason. 15 years ago, I started the First Tee program in this area, and it's now serviced, the First Tee of Lake County, and it's now serviced over 40,000 kids in this area. Plan on bringing that back to Gary. It was here many years ago with John Lowe, but it fell by the wayside. It's just a lot of things that have gotten pushed to the side that shouldn't be pushed to the side. So,
I like the change in philosophy. That's the first time I've heard that, and I absolutely agree that that's something that needs to happen to make our golf course productive. In terms of the driving range, do we have a plan to like make and keep that viable this summer?
you know, it's really, I'm gonna have to shoot some grades out there. When we get any type of rain, it's prone to flooding. But that's not terribly hard to fix, but it's one of those things that runs hand in hand along the street there. The ditches are all full. There's nowhere for the water to drain because the ditches haven't been maintained and things like that. And really, it's nothing more than digging a pit with some drain, and not anything big. Just something that you can stick a pump into and remove the water. It's one of those situations where things keep happening that it rains, it gets soft, you can't mow it, the grass grows, the sunlight never hits the water, so it doesn't evaporate, it just keeps going and keeps making it worse. We have to have a way to remove that water, and so that we can keep it maintained. Maintenance is the big thing on keeping that water out of there. If you can keep the grass cut to where it should be in that low, you know, and at a correct mowing height like that, we can remove the water.
This sounds like an opportunity to reach out to Brenda Scott Henry, Stormwater Manager, amongst other things. She's also the Executive Director of Green Urbanism, to talk about how we can put our heads together to try to really get that together, and also Dan Vicari.
Yeah, you know, I was gonna say that the Geary Sanitary District, they have been excellent in helping us out, and they have a new person for the territory now. I just met with him last month for a pump issue, and they actually, the discharge pump from our property had busted on the other side of the street over in IUN's property, and they were out there fixing it. Well, they have a new person, his name's Justin, that's gonna be in our area, the area around the IUN and the golf course and that. And he was very helpful, and there's a few issues on the golf course with some drain tile that is broke that doesn't allow us to remove the water, that he's gonna help us out with, so.
Okay. I want to thank you. Very pleased to meet you, and I would like an update at our next meeting about the driving range. I think there's an opportunity there for some added revenue for the golf course structure if we can get that area viable.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we have Mr. Jason Reeves and Mr. Charles Pruitt.
Good afternoon,
Good afternoon.
Commissioners of the Park Board. My name is Jason Reeves. I do some writing in terms of the Hearn Foundation, which is the endowment of business and engineering solutions. I kind of outlined a letter, and I don't know if I can't remember if I gave it to everybody, but I more than likely will prepare it. The issue is pertaining to the Conservancy District in terms of the Little Calumet River. And one of the details of it is that North Gleason Park is right there, North Gleason Park is north of the river, and that's part of the Park Department's property, where they have the pavilion. And south is Indiana University Northwest. Now, in 2008, the river really caused a substantial amount of damage. You know, so what I'm trying to work on is a proposed conservancy district, which is in compliance to the Indiana Department of Natural Resources with a lot of drainage issues. Not just sewers, but drainage in terms of stormwater issues. And then some of my writing along with it. And the study factor, if it goes along to be a public-private partnership, and as you think about it, you have a lot of dead trees right there in the area. dead trees cause a lot of problems too. You know, it doesn't look good for a park. It doesn't look good. It's not good for the river because it increases the level of the river, and that makes it an obsolete issue of flood control. Flood control and maybe beautifying the river is one of the goals that I'm trying to work on. So I hope you can understand that, you know, even like Marquette Park, sure, we like to see the beach and the park. Even when there was dead fish floating up on the shores of the beach, we wanted to get something done about it, you know, and that was the EPA issue. So the river has some of the same concerns, and, you know, I hope you can support the effort, you know, that I'm trying to propose in the near future. I have a little stake in it, but you know what, I think it would benefit a substantial amount of people. I have discussions between myself and a small engineering firm, can't remember the name right now, but it'll be in writing, and they're professional engineers and surveyors. So I appreciate you listening, and you all have a good day.
Okay, thank you. What you bring up, North Gleason Park, connects directly with the discussion we just had with the new golf map. The reason that the driving range is not functional is the drainage issue that you just talked about. So we'll be looking forward to more conversation and some support for it, because if we can get the North Gleason Park problem worked out, it will actually help us. Thank you.
Good morning. First of all, I'd like to compliment the board on the hiring of the new superintendent for Stillworth, the Honorable Judge Monroe as the board attorney, and Mr. Don Plow. You have to have professionals if you're going to run a city professionally. You have to have professional people in place to carry out that charge. First of all, I'd like the board to consider some things that are eminently important to the golf course. As a golfer, I really respect Mr. Plow. There's no doubt about it. He is absolutely qualified to run this golf course and bring it from where it is to where it should be. There's no doubt about it. But I would really appreciate it if the board and the superintendent would listen carefully to Mr. Plow. Because if you've ever been to Lost Marsh, the golf course in Hammond that they built on a dump, Mr. Plow was there from day one. His designs and guidance helped create the gym that's over there. He can't do the same thing in Gary because we don't have the resources and we don't have the conditions. But he can make it better than it is. But we have to have some things that we have to have. We have to have a year-round mechanic. Our equipment is old. You cannot wait till April 1st to start repairing equipment. You have to do that all winter. Your equipment wears out in the summer. You repair it during the winter to get it ready for the spring season. We have to start cutting grass no later than April 1st, okay? But first, the entire park has to be policed. We got trees and branches down all over the park from the winter, from the storm we had this winter. They all have to be policed. You cannot do it with the few employees you have there. We have a great volunteer force. One of our volunteers is here, Mr. Abe Spencer. Man puts in a tremendous amount of time at that golf course, but it's still not enough. So I would implore this board and the superintendent to really think about asking for help. I've spoken to Judge Monroe about some help, and I know there are other entities. The Calumet Township trustee has community service people that can come out. The sheriff's department has it. So we need to get on that, get the park cleaned up. Ms. Patterson mentioned how poorly the area around the park looked. And it does look bad because when the leaves blow up against the fence, somebody has to pick them up. You can't, the guys, the same grass crew that cut grass don't have the time to pick up leaves. So we got to get some other entities involved. But the work one, fine, great. Wherever, we can't, if you're drowning, you don't question who throws you the life jacket, okay? and we're at a point now that if we don't do something soon, we're going to lose the golf course. Can you imagine not putting any chemicals on your lawn for 2 years? Can you imagine what the dandelions and crabgrass will do? Well, it's happening at Gleason Park right now, okay? And if you gave him all the money he needed right now for chemicals, it would probably be fall of 2018 before you saw any improvement. It takes that long for the chemicals to really work, okay? Whatever you do this year won't evidence itself until next year. So we've got to start, we can't wait another year to do this. I thank the board.
Thank you, Mr. Fairman, appreciate it.
Any other comments from board members? Superintendent?
I just want to say, thank you for your support of the move, with the golf course. Because we were in a very precarious, situation where we had to stabilize the golf course because it is, people talk about crown jewels, that is a crown jewel. Historically, aesthetically, and it's in a place where it's in the middle of the city. And so, I'm very pleased with whom we have and just all of the enthusiastic golfers. They put a tremendous amount of time in keeping it where it is, and hopefully and prayerfully we can all get together to get that community buy-in, to let folks know that this is a historic landmark, and it's a Gary jewel. So I appreciate the support.
With that, I will entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Meeting is adjourned.